Good morning everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to be able to share our experience and our journey with the Triad model of leadership at Our Lady Help of Christians Primary School. Our Triad consists of our Assistant Principal Mission, Mrs. Christy Haig, our Assistant Principal Learning and Teaching, Mrs. Katie Rose, and myself. We are all equal in our team, but we have different levels of responsibility and different levels of accountability to each other, to our staff, and to the system. Our journey began in 2018 when we engaged in building cultural capacity. We challenged our current leadership model, our current leadership culture, and together as a staff, we made an informed decision to move to the new leadership model. It was quite evident that the old model was not meeting the needs of our school. It was not contributing to school improvement, and it wasn't making the impact that our students deserved and that we needed. Our new improvement methodology allowed us to reshape our thinking around learning and around leading within the school and the impact that it had on our organisational climate, how we work together. The Triad model aligned perfectly with our new vision, our ideal school, and the way that we wanted to operate, the level of accountability we had to each other, and the clarity that went with this. One of our key successes prior to moving to the Triad model was spending time in 2018 bringing our current school climate to the surface. We needed to acknowledge our current reality and identify that we needed to think and do things a little bit differently than we had in the past. We needed to be open to new ways of learning and new ways of leading. Our leadership team worked incredibly hard to earn and develop high levels of trust and adopt a learning stance that allowed us to give and receive real-time honest feedback that enabled us to grow and learn as leaders. We also had to learn to leave our own egos at the gate. We needed to be ambitious for each other's success. Through developing strong team-based practices, this allowed us to hold each other accountable for how we agreed that we would act and behave as leaders and learners in our school. We also needed to spend time developing clarity in our key areas of responsibility, who we were accountable to. This was a big enabler for the success of our Triad model. There needs to be a relentless focus, an unapologetic focus on what matters most in your school. Know who's accountable for the key actions and the improvement priorities, and then hold each other accountable. Wishing or hoping things will change is just not good enough. All of the above has taken time, and we're now in our third year of learning and leading in new ways. We still constantly face new challenges. We make many mistakes, but there is a real purpose, a real clarity in our school, and everything that we do is aligned to improving student outcomes. We don't hope to make a difference. Everything we do is intentional. Everything we do has a purpose to achieving our school vision.
There has been a number of significant impacts of the Triad model on leadership in our school. We now have a more distributed leadership model that clearly identifies our key areas of responsibility, which allows us to be more efficient and effective in our work. We have aligned our key improvement targets and key areas of responsibility in order to improve both leadership and school improvement. Our leadership team gives open and honest feedback to each other in order to improve, and have worked with staff to build a whole school culture of honest and open conversations. Further, importantly, our team is all on the same page and we have consistent messages to all staff, which has built trust and clarity across our school. In terms of improvement in our school, the Triad model has aligned with our improvement methodology, which we commenced working with in 2018. We have built an improvement culture and learning stance in our school through staff voice and targeted professional learning. One of the big changes, especially over the last 2 years, is that we have structured our staffing to allow both APs to be off class full time in order to give us the time needed to do the work of these roles well. We now have embedded time to coach and walk beside staff as they go about their work, and to provide targeted on-the-job professional learning. This is improving teaching and learning across our school, and we had to decide to deliberately dedicate establishment and funding to this to allow this to happen. We are also building clarity in the improvement methodology for all staff, and we use this with increasing effectiveness to improve our school. For an example, as part of our Share at Work, we have used the methodology to get staff buy-in and ownership over the work, and this has led to our whole staff being invested in the work for our students. Finally, a reduced improvement agenda allows us to have the time to go deep in fewer improvement areas, and this is increasing our impact. The Triad model has also had improvement outcomes for staff and student wellbeing. For our staff, we have used our methodology to build staff voice, ownership and clarity. Staff understand where we are going and why, and have worked with us to build that improvement agenda. It is no longer leadership telling and staff doing. Staff have ownership and voice in the things that affect their work, and this is increasing staff wellbeing. We have deliberately built clarity around roles and responsibilities for all staff, and this helps us all be clear in our work. For our students, increased staff wellbeing and buy-in and ownership over our improvement agenda is leading to more sustained change in practice in our classrooms and therefore improved learning outcomes. Students are more confident learners and have thus increased their wellbeing. Our team knows all the students and what they need to support them in challenging situations. We are highly visible in classrooms and on the playground and have built relationships with students that are based on mutual respect and trust. We have also empowered our teachers to deal with behavioural issues more in class, and we target our support of students in need. And this has dramatically reduced the number of students having behaviour consequences and therefore increased student wellbeing overall.
Catholic identity goals on our school improvement plan are valued and are seen as authentic ways of improving student outcomes. The Triad model has allowed for these to be prioritised, with time given to targeted professional learning in support of the intended outcomes. Religious education is on our learning agenda, and we have the capacity to support and accompany teachers on their faith journey and in learning about Scripture and Jesus Christ. This has led to better outcomes for our students in the classroom and will continue throughout their lives as they build a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Our staff are enthusiastic in planning for RE because they feel supported and they have seen the levels of engagement change in their classrooms. We will continue our strong team-based practices and continue to be ambitious for each other's success. These two factors have been significant in the success of our Triad. We are focused and passionate as a team on improving outcomes for the students at Our Lady Help of Christians. And by supporting each other to be better leaders, the impact has been visible, a real culture change, and improved outcomes for our students. Another key step for us as we continue to refine our leadership model is to empower others to lead in our school, to develop the next generation of leaders who have been on this journey with us and who are focused on improving student outcomes in faith and in learning. Everybody leads. Finally, for us, it's keeping our eye on the prize, not losing sight of the work that we have done, not becoming complacent, but to keep striving for success and improvement, learning from our mistakes and being intentional in all we do to improve student outcomes and enable our students to achieve the fullness of life.